Cafe. My name is Belinda Doveston. It is wonderful to have you here with me for our monthly overview for May 2022. Now, before I get into what happened in April, reflecting back and looking at the focus for May 2022, it's another locked hexagram, so hang in there. I'd like to share with you an update. A couple of years ago, I did tutorial giveaways. So you would enter in a competition and once a month, a lucky winner would be drawn and I would do a tutorial video on that question. And I would like to bring it back. Okay. It's very popular because one of the challenges of the I Ching is it's easy to read a write-up in a book, but it's quite hard to do the interpretation because you've got to weave together the hexagrams and the changing lines and bring it all together. The interpretation is where the magic is. And so the tutorials are excellent for that in that they show you a real question interpreted and worked with through the I Ching using my approach. Okay, there are lots of other approaches, but my approach and philosophy, my bias on the world. So if you like my bias on the world, you can handle it. Come and join me for these tutorials. Now, what I'm going to do is a little bit different to what I did before. I'm going to open up a giveaway competition, okay, for the month of May. Okay, so in May, you've got the whole month to get your question in. And then at the end of May, I will draw 4 winners out of those submissions and do 4 tutorial videos, one for each question. So if you are the lucky winner, you get an interpretation for your question. Okay. I would really encourage you to go below this episode or this podcast episode, go to the link to the I Ching Cafe, and you'll find the first option on the page that pops up is a link to go and enter into the competition. All you have to do is register, put in your question, and boom, you're in. Okay. Go and participate, because even if you aren't a winner of one of the tutorial videos, you're participating and helping us expand our understanding of how to apply the I Ching across every kind of question and life situation you could imagine. So please do that for me as a favor. Go and participate. Join in the conversation, put in your question, and how it works is the winners, you'll obviously be notified via email, and then when I do your video, and it will only be a video, it won't be a podcast episode, I will refer to you by your first letter of your name. So it won't be your full first name or even your first name and a surname initial, just an initial for your first name. You will know it's you. Okay, so it's private. Okay, no one knows your stuff. No one's getting involved. No one could possibly know who you are or where in the world you might be. And so we create privacy around that. Okay, so that's how the process will work. In terms of the kind of question to think about, let's not ask questions about other people. Let's be in integrity and focus on our own development, how we can improve and focus our lives. And any question is up for grabs. Any area of life, any situation that's meaningful to you. Obviously, if you put in a silly question that's not meaningful to you, that's a waste of a question. I don't mind what the question is as long as it's meaningful to you, and having some insight will help guide and inspire you in how to maximize the moment. Okay, that's all. Try and have a question that's got a slightly longer term time horizon. And I'll tell you why, because we're going to be putting questions into the pot in May, and then over a period of months, we're going to be working with those questions. So if it's an immediate question where you're trying to get an urgent answer now, there's no guarantee that you're firstly going to win one of the 4 giveaways, and second of all, when your video is going to come out. So think about a longer, maybe think about a 6-month plus type question that we can just make sure that when the question comes out, it's relevant for you and helpful. Okay? Can you do that? Pop along to the link. It'll explain more. Go get your question in until 31st of May. You've got to get your question in, and I'll remind everyone as we go through the month of May. Okay. All right. So let's get our heads back into looking at April. Right. So for the month of April, we had a locked hexagram, and the locked hexagram was hexagram 16, enthusiasm, where we were challenged to build the battery and charge up our resources and build the motivation and enthusiasm and get our team mobilized and ready to act spontaneously when the time comes. This energy is so powerful, and really used it in my own life, really focusing on what could I do to mobilize the energy and mobilize focus within my own life and within the people that I work with. Okay, so how did April go for you? It's so valuable to do this little reflection as we go through our monthlies and our weeklies, because that's how we learn. We look back and we see, okay, when Hexagram 16 came up for me, this was the story that emerged for me in my life. So now I have a personal connection to this hexagram. When I'm working with this hexagram again and it comes up, I've had a personal story attached to it, which is not the only story we can attach to it, but it gives you a hook. It gives you something to work with and connect with on the hexagram. Okay, so the reflection process is very good. Take some time. Go think back on April and think about what was the preparation process that you were going through. What was the building up of the energy, of building up that battery and a capacity to act when the time came. All right, so let's have a look at May 2022. What is the I Ching asking us to pay attention to for this month? And as I mentioned, it's a locked hexagram. Let's double down on this thing, okay? Let's really concentrate and focus our attention on this very strong shining light that is bringing some focus and attention to our month. And we have hexagram 3, difficulty at the beginning. So don't let the word difficulty be the downer here, okay? I do feel that using Richard Wilhelm's framing of this difficulty at the beginning does create this kind of difficulty when it's the beginning, but we do inherently understand that when we start new things, when we start up new phases of life, where we are building up new expertise we haven't had before, there are challenges, okay? Because our learning cycle is under a huge amount of pressure. I love Stephen Karsh's framing on this hexagram where he calls it sprouting. And so that's the image that I'd like us to work with for May, is this idea of sprouting. So let's take a few steps back. In hexagram 1, the creative, we were planting the seed. Okay, so we had the seed, we had the idea, we had the concept, we had the new beginning. It was in a seed form. And then we put the seed into the ground and we nurtured it through hexagram 2, the receptive. We held it and supported it and brought nutrients and brought water, and we brought it life and a place for it to germinate. Okay, we were patient enough to trust the forces of nature that the seed was going to germinate, or these seeds were going to germinate. And so here in hexagram 3, wow, they have popped. It's like popcorn. There was nothing, there's silence in the pot, and suddenly, bing, 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 and things just go haywire, and the lid goes, okay, and you've got to go in there and deal with it. So this hexagram is all about looking at that ground that looks like soil, and suddenly, whoa, okay, there is action. So I would say that May 2022 is going to be a month of intense activity, because these seeds are popping out at a rapid rate. We now get to see what seeds we planted, of course, because we have no idea what seeds we really planted. Okay, what were we sowing? Positive things, negative things, all right, but they're popping. Okay, so in this phase where the seeds are popping out and germinating, and there's this acceleration and there's this potential overwhelm of all these new things to do, we still have to remember that these little plants, these little seedlings that have popped out, are still fragile. Okay, they're soft and squishy, all right? And so we have to look after them and care for them, all right? And pay attention to them. There are challenges we are going through in this process, the difficulty, because we are learning new things and we're having to do things on the fly, and we're having to deal with a plethora of new things coming at us all at once. That's where the challenge comes. So I've got for you, as we work with this month and we work with this energy of hexagram 3, a 3-part strategy to help us maximize the value of this time. The first strategy is not to control things too much yet. Okay. So what we might do when we feel that overwhelm of all these new beginnings, our urge to control and to force things into a particular direction may kick in, and we want to try and control this growth, right? When it's not the time to do that. Now is the time to be in the present, not in the past, not in the future, but to be in the present moment and deal with whatever comes out as it comes out. To be there and present in the beginning, and to learn faster than anyone else. Okay, to learn faster than the flow of change, and to be do that, we have to be absolutely present. We have to be really in touch with what's happening, what is popping out of the soil, what needs our attention, and we have to learn faster than the things that are popping out of the ground, the popcorn, okay? And so we don't have time to be over-controlling and try and enforce a direction on things. This month, that's not where we are. If we are present with the flow of change and all these beginnings and all this newness is popping out, we can really maximize the unsurprising directions that come. If we are controlling, we might say that field of sprouts, I don't want that field. We're going to take them out before they've even got anywhere. But there might be a gem that's there, and we miss that gem because we are controlling and trying to control what grows and what does not grow. That's not what this month is about. The second strategy is to gather helpers and resources. There's a connection here to Hexagram 16, I feel. You know, this thing of building up the battery and preparing to act spontaneously. Well, here it is. Now we have to act spontaneously. So we've progressed, okay? We've progressed from Hexagram 16 to Hexagram 3. You know, we've prepared, now we have to act. But to do that, part of the process is to gather our resources into piles, to call on helpers, to get on the phone, to network, to find out who can help you. There's a lot going on. And the way that we deal with this plethora of new beginnings is to reach out to our friends, our helpers, and to gather our resources together, to accumulate and to organize ourselves and our resources as well. Okay. And then our third strategy is to build the foundation. In a time of chaos that emerges through this new beginning, and I would say that chaos is an energy that we will possibly encounter in May 2022. In this chaos, okay, what we can do is we can get caught up in the peripheral, the nice to have, the bells and whistles, the outside stuff, and we can drop the ball on the foundation. So this hexagram really calls us to focus on putting in place the right foundation in the startup of this phase. Okay, you've heard me use this example of the little calf or the foal that's born and has to get onto its legs quickly. The legs symbolize that foundation, the thing that's going to carry you and hold you. I've also spoken about the idea of building a ship as you're sailing and needing to make sure your keel is built and is watertight and your hull is watertight, that everything works, your rudder, your core thing, your foundation of your ship is in place. Okay. I've also talked about this example of the game of Survivor, you know, where the contestants arrive and they get thrown on the island, and the first thing they're going to do is build their shelter and get a fire going. Okay, and that is a great way, those three examples, to help us focus on this foundation strategy for May 2022. We need to put in place the foundation, focus on the foundation, because that allows us to then deal with the opportunities that come along in this flow of new beginnings. So what's core? Keep on going back to what's your foundation as you go through the month. Anytime you feel overwhelmed or you feel uncertain or you just feel you don't know what to do next, ask yourself the question, what is the foundation of my personal life? What's the foundation of my business or my team or this project? And therefore, where can I just reinforce and put our energies into making sure that foundation is solid and we build on that? And those three strategies will help us really maximize the month. Well, I'm looking forward to this energy. I have felt it the last few days. There are things popping out of the woodwork, exciting opportunities, overwhelming things that are just new and left field. And so I'm going to focus on what is the foundation and focus on getting help. Focus on not trying to control it and just see what emerges out of the field, because the beautiful things are wanting to come into our life at this time. So many blessings to you for this exciting energy for May 2022. Please like, share, and subscribe. It would be great to have you join us on the regular, on the channel, of course, the podcast and the YouTube channel. I look forward to seeing you on the socials, and very soon our first weekly overview for May. So I will see you soon.